It was around 2021 or 2022, back when I lived with my mom. For context, I used to live in joint custody, so I'd switch houses every other week. But there was one weird phenomenon that happened there that has seared itself into my memory as the scariest thing to ever happen to me. For some reason, it always came up right when I was about to go to sleep, or at least trying to. Back then, I wasn't a super late sleeper, but my whole life, up until maybe a year ago, I've always had issues with waking up in the middle of the night for no reason and taking hours to go to sleep. Then, sometimes I could sleep for up to 14 or 15 hours a day. I don't know, it was COVID, so it didn't really matter. I don't know if this is a common thing, but whenever everyone else was asleep and it was dead silent, I would always hear, like, little knocks in my wall, or, like, stuff that sounded like the house was shifting around. And I only ever heard it in my room. Like, I didn't hear this at my dad's house or anywhere else. It was just my room at my mom's house. I don't know. It was probably like bugs or something. I don't know if that's better or worse. I never really thought anything of it. It only scared me on occasion, but for the most part I just learned to live with it and slept normally. Or as normal as my sleeping patterns were back then. That is, until the sounds changed. I don't remember the exact date, but there was one night where I woke up in the middle of the night like I usually did. Despite the fact that I was definitely awake, I felt like I was in this almost half-asleep stage, where my eyes were closed. I was a little confused, but I was thinking clearly as I would if I were awake. It was dead silent. But when I was getting closer to going back to sleep, I felt a weird sensation in my ear that was pressed against my pillow. It felt like it opened up, when really loudly, I hear a man's voice in a sort of shout whisper saying, "Help! Help! Can anyone hear me? Help! Hello? Help!" I sort of laid there in shock for a good minute before sitting bolt upright in my bed and snapped my eyes open. As soon as my head leaves my pillow, the voice got really quiet. I was looking around trying to figure out where it was coming from, but I couldn't pinpoint a specific direction. It kept repeating the same thing over and over, with only slight variation. I completely froze. It didn't stop. I tried talking back to it. "What do you need help with?" I said. Completely stupid move on my part, by the way. It didn't answer. It just kept repeating. And I just sat there. It felt like hours went by. 10 minutes, 20, 30, 40. It didn't stop. So you know what I decide? Well, if I was about to die, I'm pretty sure I would have died by now. I'm too tired for this shit. I'm going back to bed. And back to bed I went. I don't know if I was just paranoid, but in the weeks following, I was so scared of it coming back that I'm pretty sure I willed it into existence by thinking about it. So sometimes when I would try and go to sleep, I would still hear it really quietly. It was never as loud as the first time, though. It kind of existed in the background for a good while until eventually I stopped hearing it. I could sleep normally again. Can't remember if the knocking and stuff was still there because I kind of learned to tune it out, but I'll say about a few months went by and everything was back to normal. Until one random night, after months of hearing nothing, I'm half awake in the middle of the night again, trying to go back to sleep. I'm in that same sort of confused headspace somewhere in between being asleep and being awake, and I'm thinking, this feels familiar. But there's nothing to be afraid of. Months had gone by where I experienced the same thing and nothing happened. Until out of nowhere, the same voice, the same loud whisper comes back, right up against my ear. It wasn't even the ear that was pressed against the pillow this time. and it wasn't even saying anything. All it did was make this weird whooshing noise, like it was blowing into my ear. This was by far the loudest it ever was. I could have sworn I felt the air in my ears as it happened, only it didn't repeat this time. And I never heard it again. It has been 4 years, and I haven't heard anything like it except for one video I found on YouTube like a year after it happened. It was a 3 Scary Games video by Markiplier on a game with an endless staircase that he kept climbing up expecting something to happen, but it never did, where an almost indiscernible audio played out of nowhere in the exact same tone of voice, saying the exact same thing. Help. Help. I don't remember which video it was, but if I find it, I'll put it somewhere in here. I don't live with my mom anymore. I sleep a lot better nowadays. I don't wake up in the middle of the night anymore. I don't hear anything in my walls, and I can usually get to sleep within like 10 minutes or less. I still don't know exactly what it was, though explanations are easy enough to make up. But even so, I always open my eyes before getting stuck in light sleep.